and though James too will join whenever he joins.
Okay.
All right. So when we last left our Victorian heroes, all right, you turned in the ghostly coach and whatever information you had over to the constables at this point. Uh, the Bobbies go and round up the butcher, the barber, and Sweeney from Sweeney's Pies because they eventually identify human remains as part of their operations, and it's like, I don't know how you got these things, but it's like there's no way you got them basically through good means. So we're charging you all with these people's murder. But unfortunately, that leaves this gap of where it's like where the sergeant has the sergeant pretty much has closed the case at this point. It's like, I'm sorry, essentially, we're not able to charge the Davenports. We would need like eyewitnesses and hard evidence essentially to even attempt to charge the Davenports at this point. So, be that as it may, the case is closed for now, at least in the public eye.
And I think we decided
Understandable.
that the Davenports didn't have a good idea of who we are and what we looked like. We didn't think that they were going to be able to trace it back. Is that right?
Yeah.
Darius did not leave any of their ghouls alive to ID you, so consequently, and nor did you get into a direct tussle with any of the Davenports. So consequently, yeah. So they didn't get a good look at you before you realized that's like, this does not look like a fight we can reasonably win. So as soon as all your weapons started bouncing off of them, and they immediately regenerated every wound you caused to them, it's like, we need magic weapons. This is not going to work. This is not.
Oh, here's Papa Shea doing an update. Yay.
All right, so you're back. You're back to your own devices at this point. Uh, you head over to what is it, Walworth? Well, actually, you're all in Hullaborn at this point, sort of the north of the Thames, where the Davenport mansion is at. Uh, the uh, the Bobbies are cleaning up the only thing remaining at this point is effectively to head home. There doesn't seem to be anything else to do around here other than possibly get implicated by the Davenports if they happen to see you around the crime scene. Some of you head back to Southwark. Some of you head over to the Strand, where your various businesses and private apartments are at. Uh, the the oppressive grace, the smog over London has reasserted itself, turning the streets into a sort of grayish wasteland. Even though it is broad daylight at this point, everything seems to be dimly lit as if it is nighttime. Even some of the the magical gas lamps have been lit at this point, giving everything an off blue glow. You arrive at your various apartments and sleep a fitful night, worried that vampires are going to come and get you during the night. But the next day comes with not much fanfare. You can hear the hustle and bustle of the streets bringing you to consciousness as it does every morning. It starts as a low rumble and quickly becomes a deafening roar of people going about their business during the day. Cobble iron shod hooves and iron wagon wheels clattering over cobblestones. Uh, you've decided to meet up in Southwark this morning at the Bessie's Best. Supposedly they have a really good like breakfast buffet, and you're headed over there.
No humans included, I assume, in the food.
That is correct. There are no humans in the food. Piles of eggs and sausage and rashers of bacon and the occasional fried tomato, which seems to be wholly left alone at this point. It's like there's a big pile of them, but only one or two people seem to be picking at the tomatoes. There's still a great distrust of this Italian fruit. The amongst the crowd here bustling in, this like it's 5 pence for all you can eat. So it's like there's just a large crowd of people. You happen to see the flyer, so you're all here yourselves to get a big breakfast. You shove your way into a table with 3 sort of dowdy-looking dwarves who obviously work at the sledges. Their skin is like a swarthy black from the coal dust. There's basically streaks of like white and gray where the soot has been wiped away by the ale and the food they're drinking around their lips. It's like, oi, you lot don't look like you're all from the South Wards. Like, it looked way too fancy for that. Like, what do you find folks doing around here?
Looking for a bite to eat.
I guess everybody's got to eat, don't they? It's like, you might be getting the rat sausages. He stabs one of the sausages and like munches down on it, and a jet of grease sort of like shoots out and like makes a stain on his leather apron. It's like, did you hear about Sweeney's pies? It's like he was serving up people.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're over here instead.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's like these those weird sigils that painted in blood under the bridges seem to be back. So it's like though no people seem to be disappearing.
So tell us about the
feel
weird
like that's gonna-
sigils. Which bridges was it that they've been seeing?
So it points to like Fifth Bridge. So the sort of like the far eastern bridge at the edge of the map I put up along the River Thames. He's like, yeah, Fifth Bridge. It's like took a sledge under there this morning. Headed out to Pottsboro, where the ironworks are, and it's like there's plain as day. Essentially, someone had painted like a big circle under the bridge with all these weird squiggly sigils all over it.
Could you tell if it was blood or if it was Could you tell if it was blood or if it was just paint?
No, it's not paint. It's definitely blood. It's like paint would be like bright red. This was like dullish, dull brown. So some of it
You're right
still
about
had
that.
like some of it was still had the basically tang of iron to it. So it's definitely blood.
That doesn't sound good at all.
So,
Telling me.
but anyways, I hear tell me that you lot have been looking into this. So I thought I'd tell you.
Thank
Well,
you
what's
so
the information?
much. Yeah, we were looking into some of this stuff. If there's anything else, is there any way we can get for people to get in touch with us?
Oh, anyways, you can talk to any of the sledge workers. The bargemen go under the bridges all the time. We're bargemen ourselves, but you can. Anyways, he sort of like rubs off this marker on his shoulder, and essentially that looks like a boat with a like 2 cross sticks over it. It's like, anyways, you see this symbol among the sledgemen over by the north side of Southwark. We're all bargemen.
Okay, excellent. Well, if you see anything else that looks interesting like that, you can always tell the barkeep here, and they'll give us a message.
All right, well, I'll do that. You head over to the barkeep since this is not one of your normal hangouts. And it's like, oi, what can I help you with? Is the food not to your liking?
Oh, food's great. I walk up
Okay,
with like
glad-
a piece
glad.
of bacon in my hand.
You need a refill? As
At
he's
this
holding
point,
out basically a ladle of ale at this point.
So I think Dirk will tell him that we're looking around for information. You know that there was that thing with the bodies at Sweeney's Pies, and there's been some sigils showing under the bridges, and these sledgemen said that if they found any additional things, they could leave a message with you for us to get the next time we come through. Would that be okay?
All right, yeah.
Okay, and I'll give him 2 silver for his trouble.
Sure. Where should I deliver messages to you? Or are you just going to come by and check up on us?
I think we'll be by every so often, and you can just let us know when we come through.
With this type of
Keep an eye
breakfast
out.
deal, it's a good place to wake up.
Over into the till. It's like, well, eat your fill at the fancy feast. You're staying at the fancy feast inn at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we could also tell people, and I'm gonna just like talk amongst ourselves, do you think that we could also tell people that they could take messages to Papa Shea's shop? Would that be another way to do that? How far away is that from where we are
Like,
now?
we get our mail delivered there now.
That'd be fine with me.
The shop's on the south side of the river, right?
Where do you want Papa Shea's shop? I thought you were in the South Wark somewhere, but where exactly is it going to be?
I would say it's probably right around the number 3 above the Southwark, or around that bridge, pretty close.
You're by bridge numbers. Okay, 4, 5, 4, 3. Okay, so you're by bridge 2, essentially. So there's a sort of like under catwalk that goes under the bridge that's been sort of set up there for. You're not exactly sure what purpose, other than you see lantern men go along it every so often during the evening. Maybe it has to do with the gas lamps. And that basically sort of rope bridge is pulled up basically generally during the day and then only laid out during the evening when there's no barge traffic. So you tell the barkeep of the Fancy Feast to leave messages over at Papa Shea's, and I'm gonna do that. So you head over to Papa Shea's shop at this point to take a look at the bridges, and it's like, lo and behold, yeah, the bridge, the sigils have been repainted at this point.
Wow.
Interesting. Ivani's doing work back at her shop. She was here helping us. She's the one that dealt with these. I mostly just carried her.
So there are in this bridge in particular, Bridge 3. There's what is it? There's sort of these tunnels that sort of lead that are directly underneath the bridge. That Papa Shea notes. It's like, yeah, I see gas lamp workers heading in and out of there during the evening. Because their lamps make them quite conspicuous, but just like I'm not exactly sure where these tunnels lead to or what their purpose is.
Can I sniff the thing on the wall? Can I confirm that it is definitely blood?
The bridge work isn't out at the moment, so unless you have some sort of spider climb, there's no convenient way to get under there.
Well, we do have a spider person with us, right?
That would be you, Papa Shea.
Does Papa Shea have innate spider climb?
I believe he has the ability to turn into a spider, and I actually believe he might actually have innate spider climb.
Regardless, that'd be pretty cool.
James, you there?
Oh, I had push to talk on.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I've been talking, and yeah, okay, my bad.
And then I have mage hand, so I could send that up 30 feet to like scrape off a sample.
Okay, you scrape off a sample. Papa Shea, do you actually go up there and take a closer look at it?
I mean, I really would rather get the Sniffler up there. I mean, I can turn into a giant spider and carry him.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that. I want to carry you.
All right.
I'm gonna turn into a giant spider.
Okay, so you basically spool some silk over the side of the bridge. You're getting all sorts of odd looks from passersby as the rest of your group is basically standing by. It's like, don't mind the giant spider. It's like
4 legs are holding me up, 2 legs are dropping. You know.
Mm-hmm.
We're just practicing the new show.
And the last leg is waving at people as they go by.
Okay. There's all sorts of like. There's fine Victorian men and women, mainly women, going basically looking indignant and basically giving you their best Karen face. It's like, how dare you do that in public? Damn Faye. All right. All right, you swing Sniffer under the bridge. No perception check necessary. It is definitely blood.
Mhm.
I need our Arcana check or religion check, whichever's better for the two of you.
I
For
have
each of us.
+1 in either. So
Uh,
that the same on either check.
Okay.
Maybe one of you could give the other aid or helping
Yeah.
action.
I somehow got a 17. My
Okay.
intelligence is -1.
So Sniffler's taking a look at it. It's just like, well, it's definitely the same sigils as there were there before. In fact, you can see the old sigils have been sort of like painted over with fresh blood at this point. It's like the smell of it smells like it is not the blood of an adult. It's the blood of a child.
Ooh.
Uh,
So I think I wasn't here when we saw these before. Did we know what the sigils mean? Have we rolled our like
No one success at, well, never mind. I think you rolled high enough Arcana to figure out they're part of like some massive summoning circle.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember you told us that.
Yeah, so the center of which is effectively in. So the center of the summoning circle is what's it, Newington. So there's a church there that's long been abandoned. You're not exactly. No one goes there anymore. There was a fire like maybe about 3 years ago, so it's all burnt out. But everybody knows underneath London is just like a rat's work maze of like underground tunnels and sewage systems. So and dungeons and various other tunneling that has been the people of London have basically, especially if you're poor and here in Southwark, you've probably dug an impromptu tunnel because it's like impromptu basement or extended your house that way because getting permits to basically extend your house is just is far beyond the means of most people around here.
Easier to dig down.
Exactly. So especially in
Well,
Southwark and this whole southeastern area of London, it's just a rat's warren of basically tunnels and basements and little dead dead ends that people have dug over time.
So if we've determined that the center of the summoning circle should be that church in Newington, maybe we should go investigate that.
Okay.
we already.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
hurt.
Oh, you already did? And
I
what
don't know. I was asking it. Did
No,
we
you
already?
have not at this point. So
Yeah, we definitely need to
this
go
is
check
one
out
of the
that church.
side things that you found out about the same time you found out the Darrington family are all vampires.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're definitely part of this, but or maybe they're not. I don't
Is
know.
there any? Are we down in the Warren right now, or are we still just like hanging out by the bridge?
No, I'm saying there's obviously an entrance to the Warren here from the gas lamp tunnels.
Is there any very distinctive smell coming from one direction or another?
Well, the gas lamp tunnels essentially. Let's put it this way: the Thames itself is not a very pleasant river to be next to
Oh, of course.
this era. So it's like the smell is horrendous, and the gas lamp tunnels themselves have this sort of like sulfurous odor about them, as well as this sort of metallic tang to the air, where you're guessing it has to do with like little bits of leaks from the magical gas that fuels the gas lamps around the district.
So I think that Dirk wants to take Mage Hand and clean a couple of sections in the sigil. If it's a big
Okay.
summoning circle and we clean a few fragments in there, then it's not going to work properly until they repaint it. So
Okay.
I'd like to do that, and then we can check it later and see if it's been covered over again.
Okay. You scrape at the sigil. I need an let's see here. I need a charisma save.
Okay.
And now
I
Dirk
was
is hanging
well. I
from
was
my
doing it
string.
with Mage Hand. Is that
Shea and you're scrubbing away. Shea and Sniffler likewise give me charisma saves.
so? Okay,
Okay,
I got a
okay.
10 on my charisma save, but I was doing it with Mage Hand. Do I still need the charisma save?
16.
Okay.
All right, so your DC is 15. If you got below this,
I got a 17 again.
okay, you're fine then.
It's a
All right,
miracle.
the world spins for a split second as it's like two of you feel like it's vertigo, and they're like, did Dirk also make it?
Dirk, no, did not make it. He only got a 10.
So basically, upon touching the sigil, basically there's an arcane connection made between your magic and your mind and the sigil, and you find the world spins, and then you find yourself in a sort of black and dark place with the only sure thing you can feel is the floor below you, but everything else, there seems to be an infinite plane of darkness around you. You can hear the heavy breathing of something large and menacing, perhaps just outside of your. Actually, are you human or you're half elf?
I'm a
Okay.
halfling.
Just outside of your dark vision.
I'm a halfling.
You're a halfling. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you take stout halfling? Is Ghostwise actually able to see in the dark? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay, just outside of your like 10 feet of vision from the little bit of light being cast off by a feeble lighter that you have out at the moment. So if you've struck a lighter at this point and are looking out from the 10 feet of light that this cast is like, there seems to be something like breathing out in the distance.
Do we see anything with this?
No, the world spins for you for like a split second, and then you sort of regain your senses, and you're going, okay, it was like that. Did I bonk my head on something?
So they felt it for a second and they came out, but Dirk's still there?
Yes, that's good.
Okay, and is it just Dirk there, or did somebody else fail it too?
I failed it as well.
So are we together, or are we in separate dark places with heavy breathing?
We're together.
Okay.
Are they still with us?
So Dirk's gonna reach out with you with telepathy and say, are you okay? Can you feel me? Maybe I'm groping around with my hand to try and see if I can feel you. If we can go back to back here.
You can touch each other just fine. Something. Okay. Both of you startle as something basically reaches out and taps you on the shoulder, and it's definitely not the other person. As you spin around and face each other, it's like, wait a minute.
So do I want to roll like a perception to tell what it is, or insight, or?
Let's see. Yes, you can roll perception. That's fine.
Okay. Well, that's not good. That's a 6. I have no idea what it is.
Come, little morsels. Essentially, walk into the darkness with me. Come to
perception 18.
All right. Well, there seems to be a little bit of directionality to this echoing voice that echoes through the darkness. Come. Like, even if you do not know, you can still serve.
So they basically, I imagine we're just hanging under the bridge, like hanging by like spider web suspension.
Yeah, so you started basically like Dirk had said, okay, let's destroy the circle just like we did the other ones. Just start scraping away the sigils. As everybody is sort of like pulling out rags and or knives and scraping away bits of the blood.
Yeah, I got vertigo. Are they still like hanging here with me in like a trance?
No, they weren't hanging there to begin with. They're sort of like standing at the edge of the shore, and Dirk was the first to try to basically interrupt a sigil.
Yeah, Dirk was using mage hand, so he's standing wherever the rest of them are and just using mage hand to scrape it.
Yeah, but did you get teleported, or is this like a mental?
No, they're not teleported.
Got it. So
it seems to be okay in your opinion. Essentially, they're sort of looking. They seem to be looking up expectantly at you, not particularly blank-faced or anything.
So I have no reason to believe anything is wrong.
Basically, in the infinite darkness, what are you doing?
Can I see if I can find a way out?
Well, let's see. You're looking around, and there seems to be infinite darkness all the way around you. There's the. Come, don't be tongue-tied. Do not dawdle.
So I guess Dirk will reach out with telepathy and ask this creature, like, "Oh, we weren't expecting you. What is your name?"
You guys just got bandersnatched.
Okay, so I need wisdom saves for the two of you that tells you its name.
Okie dokie. And I get advantage on wisdom saves now.
That is good.
Thank goodness. So that is a 11. Which
Okay, well,
didn't help
I
me
got
much.
16.
somewhere feels something. Feels like he's heard something that should not be heard by human ears. Dirk basically sucks it into his brain directly because he's sort of a curious individual. It's like, oh, yes, I will memorize the name that should not be named, should not never be spoken. As Dirk at this point is like, okay, so we're gonna use the insanity system just like we did last time. So you pick up 3 points of insanity.
Oh,
Oh,
only
boy.
3. Okay.
Only.
As Dirk's left eye is starting to twitch. It's like,
I look like, remember in the Pink Panther movies, Clouseau's boss when he was getting those facial tics? That's what it
Exactly.
looks like.
but in Dirk's mind is like, names have power. Knowing them basically has power. It's like, regardless of the cost, I must know it. As you just sort of file it away in the back of your mind and regret doing it immediately. Zumler knows better and just goes, nope, didn't hear that.
Dirk is a warlock, aren't you?
No, he's a bard rogue.
Bard.
Yes,
that's what it
but
is.
Dirk is like Dirk Gently,
Yes.
Holistic detectives.
the ultra curious detective that is always basically in other people's stuff.
And always in weird places, and it doesn't matter because the whole universe is interconnected, so wherever I go, I'm going to end up where I need to be. So even if it seems to be an infinite darkness with some sort of a demonic character, it's fine. This is where I needed to go to be where I'm going. So well, do you think that we should go with him quietly, or do you want to fight this guy? I'll telepathy my compatriot there.
From my perspective outside, hanging, are they doing anything differently, or are they just sort of like standing there?
So that's a good question. Can I send telepathy out to some of the party that didn't come with me, or can I only talk to Ryan too?
You can only talk to Zumler at this point.
Okay, so Zumler.
So Zumler is of the opinion basically we probably should try to wish ourselves home at this point. It's like the longer we stay here, the more bad things are going to happen to us.
I can agree with that. How do you think we should get back?
So you can make another wisdom save at this point to basically wish yourself back.
No place like home. There's no place like home.
Hey Lawrence, once
Oh,
I get
thank God.
Freaking
Mack
kidding
back
me.
up on the bridge, I would like to try to talk to Dirk, who who I would talk to normally telepathically.
Okay, so you talk to Dirk. It's like Dirk responds back to you. It's like, yes, it's like shame about the this being children's blood. When only you and Zumler know that it's children's blood at this point. Essentially, you're not exactly sure how Dirk knows that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's the worst. So so Dirk got a 16 on his second wisdom save. Will that get him
Dirk
back?
popped back into existence and sort of vaguely recalls essentially exactly what I just said. Is like it's terribly terrible that it was children's blood that was used to draw that circle. Was like, and Dirk is not sure where this knowledge came from.
And does
Zumler
Zumler?
is Zumler is still like snap to as Zumler is standing out there in the infinite darkness. Is like snap to it, man. Essentially, come forward. It's like I need. As you involuntarily sort of like start marching forward into the darkness, there's
Clearly not a patient god.
the you eventually arrive at this sort of like parade field. It's definitely in Tir Nanog. There's the rolling sort of rolling hills of Tir Nanog, the sort of veiled mists that are of like weird purple, red, and orange colors dot the landscape, as well as the strange willowy trees that every so often seem to grow faces and wink at you. You're standing in a military square formation, waiting for a charge from the forces of Tir Nanog. It's like your captain is like, "Awake, Lieutenant Zumler, Lieutenant Zumler." It's like, I need you to take an detachment of men and essentially take that hill on yonder. I see you look around, and there's a detachment of about 4 or 5 men. All of them look like all beat to shit. It's like you don't feel good that it's like taking that hill over there is going to be anything but suicide. It's like, regardless, essentially, for Queen and Country, get up there. I need you to find what exactly those warlocks on the hill are doing.
Can I do another try wish myself home?
Not at this point, no.
Damn.
All
Alright,
right, be a
so
good soldier.
I will take the detachment and I will go to the hill.
All right. You can see that there's a group of maybe about 5, 6 archers up on the hill at this point, and not much cover in between. Essentially, do you direct your men forward from behind, or do you run bravely in front of your own men?
I will march with my men.
You march with your men. All right. All right. I need a con save. As withering number of arrows come flying down the hill, and it's more of like gritting your teeth and taking the hits at this point as you head up the hill.
Alright, I am changing dice.
Okay.
There we go, natural 20.
Natural 20. All right, so you hunker down behind your heavy shield, as do your men as you charge the hill. Zumler is glad he's only lost 2 men on the way up, as you draw your cold forged iron swords and put the elvish archers to the you cold forged iron swords and put these archers to the blade. You're not quite sure why. Okay, Zumler, did you fight on the side of the Britons, or did you fight on the side of Tir na Nog during the war?
Turn a nog.
Okay, you're not quite sure why you're a Briton in this particular case, but it's like, but you feel like this is right, and this is what it is to. You should follow orders as a soldier. Beyond, you can see what appear to be 3 elvish maidens, sort of cavorting about in like scanty bits of clothing, very scandalous, around what appears to be a wicked blue flame. It's like these heretics must be put to the blade as well. They don't seem to be combatants, though. They don't have any swords or weapons, and they're definitely not turning to face you and cast spells at you. But they seem to be definitely dancing around this blue flame in a sensuous dance, essentially, as they circle and twist. What do you do?
Order a charge.
All right, your men charge forward. You charge forward as well.
Yes, but I will hang back towards the back.
Okay, you wait, basically. Your men charge forward and slaughter the 3 elf maidens to the last. Their screams sort of echoing across the hill as something wild and wicked begins to happen with the flame, as a glowing blue eye appears in the center of the flame, and then demonic hands begin to push out through the edges of the flame, and as if grabbing the edges of the flame and widening it out into a portal, as this being, this sort of blue being that with one giant demonic eye and spikes and horns that can only best be described as a daemon, piles on out, and then that's the last thing you see, essentially, and then you're back on the bridge.
Huh. So I just let a demon out? Cool.
To wherever you
You
want.
have
The thing that you
memory on
remember
one.
clearly and distinctly, however, is a circle of blood marked on the ground, very similar to the one under the bridge.
Hmm.
Are you going to tell us all the things that you saw that Dirk didn't?
Do I remember everything that happened?
Yeah, you remember the whole time you were in the basically null space, essentially, that the circle brought you to.
So I will recount everything that I know
Okay.
or remember.
So it sounds like when you guys ran into the circle before, did it
To the party. If I'm there.
Yeah, did it
Yeah,
transport
you're there.
anybody or do
Okay.
anything
So
that
you're back on the
time?
bridge. Zumler comes like, it was just a. Zumler doesn't even appear to go anywhere else. He's just like, he sort of nonchalantly comments on the weather, and then he starts spewing this basically weird tale about being in Tir Nanog and basically slaying elves. He himself being an elf, you're all looking at him with side eye at the moment.
I say it's strange, and I saw a demon.
Did anything happen when you guys saw these sigils before?
Does Krishana get any piquing interest of like any ritual thing going on?
Well, you already know that the circle is a summoning circle, but now based on Zumler's dream vision, the circle summons some sort of daemon.
The question is, was what he just saw out of character? Is what he just saw a vision, or did it actually happen?
That is a good question.
And can it come through under the bridge here or
Do you
in
think
the
you'd be able to
church?
tell?
It looks like there's some other like magic layered over the sigils at this point to protect them from casual tampering. So you could go to another sigil. You definitely know one is under each bridge at this point, and sort of touch it and basically see if you can go into the dark place again.
Or see if there's a safer way to
Can
disrupt
Krishana
it.
do a religion check on the dancing elves?
So the dancing elves are probably well, there's no religion check really required. Essentially, the dancing elves are the Maidens of the Mist, supposedly a powerful group of warlocks that like won various battles for the forces of Tir Nanog by summoning like powerful mystic creatures.
Like this demon that we just saw.
Like this
Or, I
demon,
guess-
but normally they would be like powerful fey creatures. Like
Yeah, this one seems more demonic than fey.
that's correct.
So there was some
The-
magic
the
over it, but were
Papa
we
Shea is a giant spider, taps you on the shoulder and points at
Mhm.
the basically the warren's opening and kind of indicates we should go that way. Start working our
First,
way there.
I'd like to know, were we able to interrupt the marks of
Better
the
suggestion than
sigil?
I've heard. Might as well.
Okay.
First,
So you had-
were we able to interrupt the sigil if there was some magic over it to prevent it because we got sucked in? Were we able to actually scrape it off and interrupt the pattern?
Yes, you were.
Oh, great.
So,
Okay.
so there are definitely scratches and breaks in the circle now. All right. So there's heading into the Warrens underneath the South Wark. There's gaslighter tunnels. Not too far in, maybe about 30 or 40 feet in. There's a sort of dugout area with a lot of like gas masks and lamplighter equipment. So, i.e., lighters and igniters, wicks, what is it? Limestone netting, essentially, for increasing the intensity of the light from the gas lamps. All the consumables essentially you need to basically maintain the gas lamps. Sort of glass globes that basically go over the lamps. And sort of these very sooty smocks, essentially, that you see the lamplighters wear all the time. There seems to be a individual down there. There's a strong smell of like the sort of limestone gas that flows through the gas lamp lights. It's sort of acrid, and so it has a little bit of sulfurous smell to it. And you can see in the far back of this room, which is maybe about 30 by 30 across, a guy on a cot, obviously taking a nap at this point because the lamplighters work during the evening. He is definitely fast asleep, and even though you do make some reasonable amount of noise, like poking through the gear around here, he does not wake up. Beyond him, you can see the lamplighter tunnels sort of head off into the warrens further. It's not clear where exactly you would go from here, but the lamplighter tunnels themselves are supposedly this sort of separate network of tunnels that run under the South Wark, and are probably the most recent tunnels dug that form sort of like some cohesive network that the lamplighters use to basically access the maintenance feeds for the gas lamps.
Um, two parts on that. One, I'm gonna stay on a spider for. I got 2 hours of it, and I'll stay as long as I can just to use it up. And yes, I let my top hat did not merge into me; it stayed on my head. And I would like to see if I can use basically survival. What I'm gonna want to do. All right, I know we generally want to go towards kind of like the church area.
Okay.
So I want to kind of use like drafts and indicators, maybe a little survival, try to figure out that direction.
All right. Well, there seems to be regular manhole covers every so often that lead up to the streets. You poke your head out every so often to do some dead reckoning and figure out which way you're heading. So you can generally get you're generally of the opinion the lamplighter tunnels generally run north south with these sort of like ladder like rungs heading east and west every so often. They apparently don't have to follow any flow of water like the sewers do, so it's just like they're all roughly at the same level.
Nice.
With only like 1 or 2 foot of deviation. Some like grand engineer must have gone through a lot of trouble to basically dig these because they obviously don't intersect with any of the other tunnels as far as you can tell, which is some small miracle as far as you can tell because the sewers like run like a spider web through, and people's basements run like a spider web throughout the South Wark.
These are they like worked stone or is it like bricked?
So it is. It looks like work stone. Well, actually, it looks like the prevailing substrate underneath the city is maybe about 10, 15 feet down. You're hitting granite. So these don't apparently go below the granite level. The floor is like the bedrock level of London, and then the walls themselves are reinforced with timber or brick, and it seems to be kind of random which one it is, any given section, and in some places it's just like some sort of like chicken wire mesh of like ironwork that has been like shoved up against the clay and mud. Seems to be holding steady enough though, so because you're not seeing like bits and chunks of the ceiling that have fallen to the floor. So whoever did their engineering on this probably knows their stuff.
Dirk would like to cast detect magic ritually as we go along. Do we see anything from that?
Okay, repeat your question. Sorry.
Dirk would like to cast detect magic and see if there is anything that we notice as we're going down here. That would run up to 10 minutes.
Stop for about 10 minutes. You sort of like cast your spell as you're walking along here.
Right.
Okay, so let's see here. Trying to figure out the sort of arc gas that is in the gas lamps. It glows a vaguely blue like conjuration magic. As far as you know, and transmutation. As far as you know, the gas for the gas lamps is produced by some sort of magical source underneath the city. There seems to be flow like veins and arteries through these tunnels, and there's an obvious directionality to them, essentially indicating that the stronger source of this stuff, the source of the gas, is to the south. So, i.e., the sort of traces of magic in the pipes seems to get stronger and stronger the further you head south, which you are heading south. You eventually continue to chug along. The tunnels don't deviate all that much. You effectively have to only go like one one set of tunnels to the east before you're pretty much like directly in line with the what is it? The Newington church grounds and cemetery. About it's maybe about 20 or so minutes later when you can hear above you sort of the sound of children playing and sort of a carnival type atmosphere. People, kids that are singing various like playground songs. It's like
Is there like
Red
a
Rover ran
school or
over, send Alan over as it's like. And then there's a thud as some kid obviously hits the ground really hard.
is there like an orphanage or like a school
You
down there?
you sort of you poke up through the ground here and are looking it's like and yes, there is St. Mary's Orphanage just right above you.
Well, this seems awfully close to the place with the children's blood.
Mm-hmm.
Near children that society has sort of forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
This don't want to make assumptions, but it's easy to connect the dots.
I really wish that you could talk in wild shape. It'd be so good because then I'd be a talking spider and go make swings for the kids.
But when you're in wild shape, you can talk to Dirk via his telepathy. Do you want
Yes.
Dirk to go ask them if they have any children missing or if there's anything odd happening?
We can do that, but we should play with them for a little bit to
Play
gain
with the
their trust.
kids.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's asking the kids, but there's also going to the orphanage people. So I guess kids. So I guess Dirk could come up and he could say, "Hey, I'm on a scavenger hunt and I'm trying to find blue flowers. Do you guys have any blue flowers here?"
Well, there's the head nun's private garden. She has blue flowers.
Ooh, I may have to ask her first. I don't know about taking flowers without asking. How do you think she would go for that? Do you think she would tell me yes?
Oh, I don't know. She's really mean. So I wouldn't go ask her if I were you.
Oh, that sounds like. So, are the other nuns nice here?
Yeah, they're nice. Sister Agnes and Sister Rosalind are super nice. It's just Sister Mary herself is just like, she's mean.
Is there anything is there anything strange about her or she's just grumpy all the time?
Oh, I think she's just grumpy all the time. She's just really old.
I've seen old people that get that grumpy. So, are you guys doing okay here? Has anybody gone missing, or is there anything unusual going on here?
I don't know. Anyways, Jimmy says there's ghosts over at the church as they point to the burnt down church that's maybe about 100 feet away.
So that's the Newington one, right?
That's the Newington church, yeah.
I've heard people say there's ghosts at that church, so Jimmy might be right, but they don't ever come over here to St. Mary's, right?
Uh,
Well, that sounds good.
the sisters say we're on blessed ground, so there's like bad
Mm.
stuff shouldn't be able to happen to us. Uh, and that seems to be the case. It's like nothing bad generally happens around here.
Well, then that's a very good thing to say. I think I'm going to go and try and find some blue flowers that won't upset any grumpy old nuns. But thanks for your help and enjoy your game of Red Rover, Red Rover.
Right.
Can I play
Ribbon
Red
around the
Rover?
rosies, pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes. We all fall down, and all the kids like fall down to the ground, and all of you are going,
Yep,
"That
that's
is
the
bad."
plague, all right. Yep.
I was like, oh god, that's the plague.
Rosy plague.
Ooh.
Krishana, did you have something else you wanted to ask him?
No, I just wanted to play with them, and she falls down.
Okay.
The kids all get up and start laughing.
You want to go check out the church? I say into Dirk's mind.
Yep, I think we should. I think we definitely need to go over there, and I personally would like to go over first in the daytime when there aren't so many
Okay.
vampires, right?
All right, you head over to the church. There's you can distinctly see, like, in the ash, people have been walking around here like recently, and a lot of people, both big people and little people. So you're guessing the kids aren't completely honest when they say they don't play around the church grounds.
I bet you
The,
none of them ever dared other ones to go and get on, no dares were ever made.
There's some, like, the buildings that are still standing are the sort of like three sort of largest mausoleums that probably belong to some like noble family in the past, but so like are definitely in ruins at this point. But the structures are definitely still standing. In the graveyard area, other than that, the gravestones themselves, you can see there's obvious signs of grave robbing that have happened to this cemetery over time. Poor people, being poor people, basically are looking for whatever loose money they can, and it doesn't matter that it's from the dead and could possibly curse you.
They don't need it. They're not. What are the dead people going to use their money for?
Exactly.
So
So
this
you can see there's lots of signs of grave robbing. So we're like cracked open caskets, dug up graves. The two of the mausoleums definitely have been broken into, but the third one seems to be standing valiant and strong, as it has a very, very stout iron door in the front that, though you can see scratches on its front and lock, has not been breached. Then there's the main sort of like church itself, church building itself. The abbey, i.e., the place where the monks would have stayed, is burnt all the way to the ground. It's like the wooden flooring is gone, so that all that remains is sort of more or less a pile of rubble and some posts where basically wooden timbers would some foundation blocks where wooden timbers would have risen out of to hold the ceiling up. And then the main church area itself, you can see burnt out pews and an altar area. The ceiling you're guessing was probably made of wood and is like burnt away completely. And there's a sort of like jagged walls that look like the teeth of some tremendously huge monster, sort of lower jaw of like a crocodile or something, like pointing out into the southwark. You enter through what was the front doors that have sort of collapsed into like splinters and ash on either side. There doesn't seem to be much in here. Perhaps if you look at the altar, there might be something there.
Are the footprints in here as well?
Yeah, there's footprints all over the place. It's like there's the booted footprints of like men and women. A lot of traffic goes through here for some weird ass reason.
I would like to try to follow the footprints and see if any of them just disappear into walls or seem to disappear into caskets that look like shouldn't be able to move.
Also, along with
They're
that,
simply very directional, and they all head up to the altar. You go up to the altar. There's a heavy stone altar here that probably used to have a cross to the one god above it, and his son. However, that cross, probably being made of wood, is like burnt away into nothingness at this point. So there's this sort of like big stone altar right at the top of a short set of stairs up there. And then behind the altar would have been the entrance to the abbey, but that whole area is all burnt to ash and burnt to the ground. So there's footsteps that goes directly up to the altar, and that's it.
Well, I wonder if there's some sort of a secret door there. In the meantime, so the child said that St. Mary's was on hallowed ground. Would this be holy ground here at Newington Church? Or do we think
people can roll religion to determine whether or not this place is still blessed or not.
Yeah.
My guess is it's now desecrated.
I don't know if like all of it would be that way. Or...
Like, I didn't follow the one god. So I have no idea.
Okay, that is a 14.
Dirk goes, if there isn't a cross and if there isn't a cross and reliquary here, it's like this place is no longer blessed by the one god.
Mm,
So, i.e., there for this to be a blessed place of the one god, there are some like symbols of faith that have to be there essentially. So there has to be a reliquary of the one god and his holy symbol, and neither of those are present. So this is no longer a blessed place.
okay.
Am I still a spider? Because I really want to do it for
Yes,
just this
certainly.
one last thing. I want to touch everything with all of my spider legs on this altar.
Okay.
All of the hands are going everywhere.
It does not move one whit. Though it does give Papa Shea the distinct impression. Okay, this is moved by strength of arms. We just should shove it one direction. It's shove it each of the 4 cardinal directions to see if we can get it to move.
I begin trying to do that.
Okay, athletics check.
So Dirk is going to do it, and he's going to do it as a grunter. In other words, he's not going to actually push very hard because he's a -1 in strength, but he's going to go, oh, and make a big show of it. Maybe wipe his brow a little bit.
I've got a plus
All right,
on
you
that.
two,
I got a
stand
12.
aside. Don't damage it.
All right, Papa Shea is just like, you didn't think spiders could break a sweat, but you've managed to do it. So you have little anime droplets coming out of your head at this point.
Nice.
Awesome.
Pick the top hat up, wipe my brow off, put the top hat back on.
Yep, exactly.
Is this an athletics check or a strength check?
It's an athletics check.
21.
21.
Ah,
The mechanism you're quickly realizing is really quite awkward. It actually causes a large section of the stone behind the altar and the altar itself to lift up and pivot to reveal a passageway below. So it sort of like tilts up. It's like you're wondering why you didn't see any scrape marks, basically from moving the altar, because the whole thing flips up. There's a fine rain of ash down into the stairwell below, and you can see more ashy footprints leading off into the darkness of a long spiral staircase heading down into the darkness.
shall we?
Yes.
All right, you begin to head down. There's a loud click somewhere about middle of the stairwell by the time you get down, and then greenish gray gas begins to like pour into the stairwell. I need con saves from everybody.
$19.
Oh no, I got a 7.
All right, your DC is
17.
15, by the way. Okay, full damage is 25, half damage is 12. If you're
Well, I'm
resistant,
just about
force basically apply your resistance as normal.
What was full damage?
25.
Oof. What type? I assume poison damage.
Poison damage, yes.
Ow.
I
Big
don't
spider
have any
grunt.
resistance to poison, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that hurt a lot.
Okay, rush forward or run back? What are you doing?
Brushing forward.
I will rush backward, since what do you got? Like, I'm gonna let the area air out, I guess.
Okay. So the gas begins to continue. Is slightly heavier than air and like creeps down the corridor at a high speed. As you're those people rushing forward, I need to have you make an athletics check at disadvantage because you're having to hold your breath.
Dirk is gonna rush back.
I got a 13.
I'm gonna rush backwards too.
Okay.
I went off by
Are you
myself,
resistant
apparently.
to poison as a spider? Sure or no?
No.
If it's low, I mean, like if it's heavy and it's sinking down, because as a spider, could he go up on the ceiling where there's less of it?
I would do that if that's possible.
Okay, you give it a try. Okay, so just roll a normal con save then.
Did the 13 not do it on the athletics check?
No, it does not. So,
I got an 11 on the con save.
all right, so everybody hears a loud thump, 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 because I'm assuming you're unconscious at this point if you take 25 points of damage.
No, I'm still up. I
You're
revert. I
Oh,
revert.
because you were burnt. Okay, so, all right. Papa Shea can be heard coughing and hacking up a lung down there. But he's...
Add 1, so it's at 24 points.
Okay. But about that period of time, essentially, the poison gas sort of like reaches the extent of its of how much of it there is, as the rest of it sort of sinks to the floor and flows past your feet. It's like, okay, so you take 25 points of damage from that as everybody else rushes up to the top. It's like you carefully make your way down the second time and start carefully looking for traps. Roll perception checks. So 2 of you roll perception checks for checking for traps or investigation. If you have
I
to be
assume I
better
can't
at it.
sniff for traps, right?
No, in fact, you cannot smell anything at this point because your nose is bloodied at this point.
Does Dirk still have detect magic up?
If you want it, yeah.
Yeah, let's try that. Should I do a perception for that?
And that's yeah, you can do normal perceptions. There's nothing magical about this trap. So.
Okay, so that's a 15.
All right. Through sort of blind doodah luck, Papa Shea didn't happen to set off the second trap as he was running down the stairs. Maybe it was the fact that he was taking steps 2 at a time.
I healed myself a little bit back up too.
Okay. So Papa Shea at the bottom is not as bad as you would think he would look, as he's like only one. The capillaries in only one of his eyes has blown out, rather than both of them.
Well, that was
Mack, the werewolf, basically is like there's a little dribble of drool of blood, sort of like dripping from his tongue because he sort of breathes by huffing through his mouth. Unconsciously, when nobody's looking, he's just like as he does the basically dog pant, but it's like you can see drips of blood
Pretty
running
much.
off his jaw at this point.
Normally, Vonnie would
They're all at
need
the
to patch
bottom at
this
this
up.
point. In this roughly 10 by 15 room, there's a door on one side that's marked. Let's see here. Hold on a second.
Gotta remember to say I searched for traps.
Krishana will sit down. Guys, I don't feel good.
Yeah, no, do I.
What time of day is
Not
it
much I can do
now?
about it.
Well, I'm just saying you're at the bottom of the stairs at this point.
Right, but
you
is it
found
like
another-
is it like 11 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon or?
By the time you guys got here, it's probably maybe about 10:30, 11.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. There is a sort of simple, like sigil embossed into the door with wire that sort of looks like the following. Some of you recognize it immediately as the Eye of Hermes. It's a common symbol used by wizards. I.e., it's a common rune that basically you see basically in divination spells and that sort of stuff. So
And you said it's on a door?
why it's embossed on this door, you have no idea. All right. So there's a simple door made of wood with that sigil on it. There doesn't seem to be any hinges or locks or handles on this door other than that sigil.
But it's not.
Your
It's
detect
not
magic does
triggering.
detect,
Okay.
your magic on the door does detect some sort of detection and powerful evocation magic.
Okay.
So there,
Somebody try
i.e., there's
open
this is one
sesame.
of the. So Dirk immediately pretty much deduces that this is like this door will open probably for the right command phrase or symbol being traced or whatever, and otherwise it's going to blast the heck out of everybody in this room.
I don't want to blow up again.
And this is the. So other than that, we're in the room. There's the one door. There's no other options. It's just we go back where we came over this one door, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Anybody good with magical runes?
I was just wondering if anybody had a familiar. So bad.
Let me try something. Now, for the first time, I will summon my wolf spirit.
Yay.
Okay.
Technically, it's an echo of me.
Echo Knight, nice.
Lasts until it's destroyed. Dismisses bonus action. 1 hit point immunity to
Okay.
all conditions. Uses my saving throws. It can attack, but I believe it can use like its own. Let me see.
You can attack as part of your Echo Knight capability. You can attack from your duplicate. That's fine.
Yeah,
So
it's.
I'll allow you to take actions with your duplicate if you want to. So keep in mind it has a relatively short range. It only has 30-foot range. So if you're standing 30 feet within 30 feet of a trap, you still might very well eat it. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your echo is ever more than 30 feet from you at the end of your turn, it is destroyed.
Yep.
So how far away is the rune from...
So I'm saying the room is 10 by 15. You could scurry up the... you could try to... I don't think you're high enough level to look through to see through your double's eyes as of yet. So you'd still have to be standing really close, like probably at the bottom of the stairs to direct your doppelganger.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'll pick you up if you get blown up.
Well,
Can I
give
give
it a
him
shot.
bardic inspiration?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, you
Better
got
than
bardic
no inspiration.
inspiration. You're effectively just gonna like trigger the door and then dive out of the way because you're not in no way basically a magic expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
This is
at
more
least
like
said I'll
a,
give you a 1d6 on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Dirk has pulled out some paint and like painted the step essentially that is the trigger for the second set of traps on the stairwell. As everybody carefully steps over it and heads up how far up the stairwell do you want to be? So it's the stairwell itself is maybe about 40 feet. So
Enough to be able to see the rune, at least. I gotta be within 30 feet, so at
well, I
least 10
said
feet
you have
up.
to be like still within ground zero. Unfortunately, you're pretty much at the
Yeah.
last turn of the stairs and using the turn of the stair as a bit of shielding and hoping it doesn't root up the stairs.
Yeah.
Krishana will be as far back as she can up the stairs.
Dirk wants
Okay,
to
so
be
you're
within
actually all the way
60
at the
feet
top
of Mack so that I can cast Healing Word if I need to bring him up.
Well, this is the problem. You won't be able to see him. This is a spiral staircase, right? So
Okay.
if you want to be able to cast stuff on Mac, you have to be like right next to him.
Okay.
Even with stuff that has range, because you can't see him otherwise around the turn of the
Yep.
staircase.
I'm with you.
Okay, so who is down at the bottom and who is like retreated all the way to the top of the stairwell?
I'll be at the top.
At the top, okay.
I think Dirk will be about halfway up.
Halfway up.
Yeah.
Papa
I'll
Shea,
be-
where do you want to be?
I'll probably be next to Dirk.
Okay, you're next to Dirk. On the off chance you survive and he does not, and you can cast some healing on him.
Basically, I'm ready to heal.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you would like to cast, Papa Shea?
I don't have anything that I think would work.
Does anybody have
You have
guidance?
guidance or resistance or bless, aid.
Not prepared.
I have guidance, but I'm on top.
Well, maybe
Okay.
maybe we could retcon that you gave it to him before you left because it lasts for 10 minutes, right?
No, I'm saying he just doesn't have the spell prepared at all.
Oh, I only
No, I
have.
do. I have it prepared.
Okay, so do
I
you want to just
forgot.
swap places with somewhere then?
Oh, I have a cantrip anyway.
I forgot to prepare more spells, considering I forgot about the level up. I can
Okay.
prepare more now.
Yeah,
Okay,
guidance
so
is
we'll just put
cantrips.
if you want to basically put down basically those like aid or bless or those would be useful at this point to have. So, all right, do you want to use a spell slot and cast one either of those?
I'm looking through to see if I even have anything. I don't think I have it.
And Zilmer, you said you could do guidance, right? That's
Oh,
a
never mind. I
cantrip.
keep on forgetting you're a druid. You're not a
Mhm.
cleric.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I have guidance.
And once he casts that, it lasts for 10 minutes, right? Is that right?
Mhm.
It's a cantrip.
Right. But I think you have to touch him to give it to him, but once you give it to him, it lasts for 10 minutes. So you could touch him, give it to him and then go up to the top of the stairs and it wouldn't be a problem.
It doesn't say up to 1 minute.
So it has a 1 minute duration before
Okay.
it goes away. So okay, so you touch him and give him you're giving him guidance. Okay. Well, actually, do you have resistance? Actually, you need resistance because the guidance is going to help because he doesn't have any applicable skills. He's just going to set up the trap.
Do I have resistance to?
Resistance is a spell. It's like guidance, but for saves.
Oh, no.
Okay, does Krishana actually have Unseen Servant?
I do. It's a. I would do it as a ritual, and it has a range of 60 feet and can do simple
Okay,
tasks.
perfect. So why don't we do that instead of?
Yeah. I vote that we
Going
risk
there.
unseen servant. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so everybody retreats up to the top of the stairs, and you said, "Tell your Unseen Servant, go knock on the door 3 times." As you wish, master. As you wish, mistress. As your. Okay, so what does your Unseen Servant look like, just for yucks?
I guess, like, just a normal servant, but dressed finely, half elven.
Why,
All right,
does it matter if we can't see them?
Jeeves the butler heads downstairs, carrying a tray over one shoulder and coat and tails, terminating in a ghostly Casper tail. All right, so your ghostly butler zooms downstairs. There's a tremendous boom as fire rips almost all the way back up the full spiral of the staircase. As all of you are glad none of you are down there. There's the smell of the air itself smells burnt and charred. As you head down there, your detect magic indicates that the detection and the evocation magics are gone, so it's probably a one-shot trap. The door, however, still is not open.
Okay. Do we think that it's mechanically locked?
Well, you start trying to lever it with crowbars and the edges of knives. Yes, it is definitely mechanically locked somehow.
You think acid would be able to eat our way through?
It
Can
is just a regular wood. It is just a regular wooden door, so they have firebolt or some
Oh,
splinter
can I
or
try
whatever.
thieves' tools on it?
Sure. Go ahead and roll thieves tools.
Okay. So is that sleight of hand?
That is sleight of hand, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's not gonna work. That's a 9.
Okay, so you start sliding thin shims through the door to see if you can trip the locking bolt, but it's just like there's a loud there's a loud batang as one of the blades like thin blade snaps off, and it's like as you're going, damn it, it's jammed in there pretty tight.
That's my
What
favorite
is
blade. Damn it!
consistency of the ground and wall? Is this like work
It's
stone? Is it loose?
it's definitely work stone, so it's below the level of the bedrock, which may be about 20 feet down. So this is like all granite that's been worked at this point.
Can Krishana look around? Maybe there's a key under a rug or a pottery thing here.
Well, I'm saying there is literally no keyhole to this thing, so there's either like a secret to opening the door, or you're probably gonna have to bust the door down at this point, or basically cut the bolt out or the hinges. So
Does anybody have knock? Does anyone have knock?
No, we don't need to waste more spells on this. And I cast Shillelagh the cantrip on my billy club, and I walk over to it. And
so it takes you pretty much the full minute of whacking on this thing before you are able to break away the lock mechanism. You're guessing there probably was some sort of magic that would have like pulled the bolt if you did the right thing on the door, but it's just like at this point you don't care. You pretty much surgically knock out the bolt and basically wing the door open at this point. It swings open with slightly creaky hinges. As you see beyond, there seems to be a coat room in here where people would normally get dressed. There's all sorts of robes and that have the Eye of Hermes on them. They're a deep purple colored, which is like doesn't bode well for an association with the Davenports, but they're all hooded as with deep enough hoods to which would normally hide your face if you had the hood all the way up over your head. Let's see.
Don one.
Yeah, I think Dirk is definitely gonna.
White porcelain mask, sort of hung by ribbons next to the cloaks that you're guessing would be normally worn with the robes, on the off chance basically someone could still see your face underneath the robes.
How many of the robes are there? Are there like dozens?
Easily like 24 here. They're like
Okay.
20 plus robes.
So if we all took one and put it in our backpack or put one on, they wouldn't necessarily know immediately that there were some missing. So
probably not. These are definitely large and bulky enough to where they could be placed over your armor and clothing. So they're like big and bulky. Let's put it that way. Let's see what other stuff. There's sitting in individual cubbies labeled with what are obviously code names, like Zeus and Hercules and Theus and Thesis and Pericles, and so there's a whole bunch of sort of like Greek god names and heroes. And then there's also various Greek monsters like Medusa and Hydra and the Kraken. You're assuming these are all code names for these various people. Inside of each of these cubbies, you find a sort of simple onyx wand. Some of them are it's either an onyx wand or a marble wand, so they're either white or they're black. So they're not exactly sure which belongs to which because it seems kind of random. And the wand is sort of tied with a sort of simple grayish ribbon that seems to have some sort of silver metallic thread run through it. And then the ribbon sort of loops around basically as if you were to hang this over your wrist so that you can't lose the wand by accidentally dropping it on the floor. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of these as well, like 20 plus of these wands. And that is about it. Other than that, there's cubbies for shoes and sort of slippers that go with the robes.
Are there baskets full of snacks?
There probably are at some point because there's baskets that you see like crumbs of like of pies and cookies, and as you sort of pick up some of them and taste them, it's like they all taste sweet. So you're guessing these would have been like crumpets and muffins and cookies at some point or another. And there's stains on a table nearby where pitchers full of drink would have been left in cups, but the pitchers and cups are nowhere to be found around here.
Does the
Papa
detect
Shay's definitely
magic?
gonna take.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna take 2 extra of everything and shove it in my backpack because I mean, come on, cultist robes at a curio shop. That's exactly what I need.
Okay, exactly.
And then does
All
the
right, so the
detect
robes
does
basically
detect
take up,
magic
like,
show
more than-
anything on the wands?
Yes, so the robes and the wands, and even the slippers all have some sort of magic on them. It's more of the kinds of minor enchantment you'd expect to like keep them laundered and clean.
Okay.
The wands themselves are the only ones, the piece that sort of have a unique enchantment on them that you do not recognize. Perhaps they're a key or part of a ritual or something along those lines. Because it's not exactly clear what this magical aura means, but they are magical.
Okay. And do we all take at least one wand and one robe?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I think Dirk's probably going to take one white one and one black one, so that way, if he needs one or the other, he's got them.
Do you guys force Krishana to grab one?
If you're not going to put one on, I'm going to say that you should put one on because we would like to not be killed instantly.
Okay, so is everybody donning robes and putting on slippers at this point and carrying a wand on them? Or are you putting this in your packs?
It's like bowling shoes, you know? Who knows who's had their feet in here? But yeah, I think we're putting them on.
Reluctantly.
Okay, so you put on your cultist. You put on the cultist robes, loop a wand around your wrist. Those people taking extras, by the way, is just like these things are extremely bulky, so it's like it's almost all of your backpack just to fit one of these one of these robes in there. This is like taking a quilt and from your bed and like stuffing it into your backpack.
Worth it.
Okay, so there's one exit out of this room, a simple door with the Hermes symbol on it. Someone among you gets a bright idea. Well, let's see if the wands will allow us past. As you tap your wand to the eye symbol, and the magic, when you're looking at sort of detect magic, sort of quiesces and it seems to go inactive as you open up. As the door makes a loud click and opens up on its own accord, swinging into the room. Beyond here, you can see what it seems to be a featureless black room, which is obviously cloaked in magical darkness.
I feel ridiculous.
Because even those of you with dark vision are going, you can barely see maybe a foot into the room before it's like pitch black.
Does anybody have true sight?
I got true sniff.
At this level, probably not.
Okay.
Sniffler can smell sniffing the air just because he does this on the Finn. Have you had any healing so far, Sniffler, or no?
I used my second wind, so I'm back up to.
Okay, so fine. You got a little bit of healing, so you at least have your scent back. Okay,
Yeah.
you blew out. It's not rocket of blood.
27. Yeah, 27 out of 41.
And I think Dirk can
All right.
send Mage Hand for 30 feet around the edge of the room to see if I can get an idea, like, for how big the room
Okay,
is.
so you're reaching around with the mage hand into the room. There's like the room is large. It's like larger than the 30 feet that you can reach with your mage hand. And it is circular because you sort of like feel slightly sloped walls to either side. The Sniffler blows out a big snot rocket of blood on the ground and then sniffs the air. There is something weird and alien that he's never smelled before coming from that room.
Nice.
And he can also smell the smell of burnt flesh.
Anybody know the light spell?
Have you ever smelled a dragon before, Sniffler?
Didn't know those still existed, but no, I haven't.
Okay, I was just thinking about the burned flesh.
Well, people can light others on fire without it being
Oh
burned
yeah,
by a
you
dragon.
can immolate, but
It's not just burning flesh. I don't even know what that is. And I've smelled a lot of things, mind you.
Sorry, that was me.
It's not you.
I told you you shouldn't have beans for lunch.
But I like beans.
Beans and toast are great. It's like, and other evil British cuisines. It's just like, why?
If I walk in and kind of follow the wall to the right into the darkness, does it lead anywhere out
Okay.
of the magical darkness?
So you walk into the darkness. There's just a thin veil of it. You quickly realize that it's probably to shield what is in the room. As you walk through the veil of darkness, beyond is a glowing blue flame with what appears to be a glowing eye of Sauron blue flame, sort of floating in the center of the room on top of an altar made of like bluish glass. There's surrounding it are statues of 3 slain maidens, elvish maidens, in various states of of distress with what are obviously sword wounds. But they're statuary, essentially, as if this sort of a recreation of a particular scene in the past. There's
Everybody just walk forward.
The stench of burning flesh is like overwhelming in the room at this point. It's like it smells like bacon all throughout this room.
Bacon smells good.
So
Everybody, just walk forward.
The period of time as you enter the room, the eye sort of focuses on you, and then as you sort of try to scoot around the edge, the eye sort of follows you around the edge. But nothing bad happens, so you're going, okay, well, I feel like I'm safe. Do you just say, okay, it seems to be safe. Probably stick to the edge of the room, though.
yeah, Dirk will go around on the other side. So he went to the right. Dirk will go to the left.
Okay, now that you're looking around and looking at the walls, there's symbols of, there's basically frescoes and paintings of really demonic and wicked stuff. As you can see, like piles of the innocents being like piled up in like large, the innocents being piled up in large piles, only to be fed to this one blue-skinned, one-eyed demon. In one picture, in another picture, this demon is basically skewering individuals on stakes, impaling them and roasting them over a fire. In another picture, essentially, you see children basically all huddled together, crying blood, and you're going on. As I need a wisdom save for everybody that as you enter the room.
Oh, come on.
Even
I'm
my
good.
nose is offended at this.
I'm good at those.
I got a natural 1.
Okay, so you take 3 points of insanity.
I got a 19.
And whenever we reach 4, you could pick up an insanity of some
What's the
sort.
DC on that?
DC is 15.
Okay, I used my inspiration, my DM inspiration, and made it.
What was the
If I did
DC?
not make it, picks up 3 points of insanity.
Yeah, I didn't want another 3 points. That wasn't going to work for me.
Okay.
I look
So
at the
yeah,
blue
looking
flame.
around the edges of the room, essentially, there's like the paintings around the edges of the room take on a lurid and supernatural quality, as the sort of like heat waves from the flame make it look like the frescoes around the side animate as people you can hear distant screaming coming from the paintings and all around you as people are sacrificed to this blue demon.
So would
This is
Zimler recognize this demon from the when he was teleported into the other thing?
Zimler is like staring at staring at the ceiling, basically. His eye is not deviating, as something from the beyond is looking back at him.
Okay.
Krishana will curtsy to the blue eye and says, "You're not very nice, are you?"
Oh, you beat me. He's been busy.
Have you come to serve? Mages of the Order of Hermes, you have served me well. Complete the ritual, and I will grant you the the wishes that you wish that are beyond your dreams. As basically this like sepulchral voice basically echoes through everybody's head.
I smell heresy!
In a deadpan voice, I go, "Tell us again, O Master, how to complete the ritual."
100 souls I need. You have provided me 90. This very night, essentially, I expect to be freed from my prison.
Nope.
And you said
And
that
this
You speak boldly. You speak boldly, mortals. Why would you, who have helped me, deny me now?
Hmm?
we just
'Cause
needed to.
some of you are literally saying nope directly in the front of this thing's face.
right.
Yeah, I think Dirk is like, we just needed to check on the numbers because I was thinking we had enough, but if we still need 10 more, then we'll go and get those, and that sounds good. We just needed to check on the amounts.
What she said.
And Dirk is going to start edging back the way we came in.
Okay. You edge back out the way you came in. This sort of like weird shadowy veil like surrounds the whole room. You're guessing there might actually be other exits in and out of this room, but you don't know if you want to stay in the room to find that out. So does anybody want to stay in the room and actually search it? Or in front of the watchful eye of the daemon, or are you going to basically all back out carefully at this point?
I want to back out fairly carefully, but I also want to like look everywhere I can in the room to see what all I can take in. If I get the sense that there might be other exits, I want to see if I can locate
10-foot
them.
mark in the room is covered over by this sort of veil of shadow, like a curtain all the way
gotcha.
around the edge. And then the ceiling is sort of domed above, and then there's frescoes sort of running like 3/4 of the way up the ceiling, showing all sorts of horrific sacrifice to this daemon.
No, I understand a little better. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
And then the ceiling is sort of like this pitch black night sky with a peculiar set of constellations, because it doesn't look like any night sky you've ever seen before. So, particularly a particular set of constellations and stars that you have never seen.
all right. I'm gonna head out.
Okay, so you back out of the room. Everybody backs out of the room and shuts the door behind them, and breathes
Okay,
a sigh of
made it.
relief. It's like,
Everything okay?
I'm so glad we had these robes on. Otherwise, I feel something really bad was about to
If you
happen.
want to take this space
Like
over
we were about to
here,
get,
if you
I don't know, maybe
sign up for
sacrificed.
Wi-Fi
Yep.
Well, what do we do now?
It's like a plan.
Well, there's
Hardest
obviously
place
a
to go.
conspiracy of people that are sacrificing people from the Southwark to make this ritual happen.
Should we check in with the Paladin's church? Or the lady church that we went to?
Yeah, that's true.
So the Order of the Ancients, the worshippers of the Tirnanogs, the gods of Tirnanog.
Yeah.
The ones that Zimler had applied for at some point and was going to check back with.
Yeah, we probably should get some help.
So it sounds like tonight is there. You know, there's going to be some activity here, and somebody is going to be trying to take 10 souls down there to this demon, and I think we don't want it coming to London.
We're gonna end up having to fight it, but hopefully not at full strength.
Is there anything we could? So we broke the door on the way in, so it's going to be pretty obvious that we've
Yeah,
been
we don't want
here.
to be here.
I don't think we want to hang out in that particular place. I'm wondering if we can booby trap anything down here to catch people on the stairs before they unawares before they come up on the door. Does anybody
Can
have
they-
any glyphs
Well,
of
let's
warding
put it-
or anything?
Let's put it that way. There's off and on the Lamplighters have like horrible accidents within the tunnels. And you already know the the arc lamp tunnels essentially lead right up to this place. So it would be easy enough to basically shut this place down in a very permanent way by like breaching the gas lines and just like blowing it up.
Yes.
However, whether or not that's going to like have wide-reaching effects all over Southwark, that's a good question.
What's
when you
better?
say wide-reaching, you mean
wide-reaching gas
Like
problems?
blowing up large portions of Southwark. Let's put it that way.
so not necessarily that the lamps wouldn't work, but that whole buildings might fall in. I still compare with giant blue demons.
So you'd probably have to get some experts' help if you didn't want to just cause widespread destruction.
Okay.
Krishana's
Well-
trying mending on the door.
Ah,
I was
nice.
gonna ask about that.
Okay, Krishana mends up the door. It still looks a little janky, but it is like mostly in place. The main problematic part is the magic ward is gone.
Can we draw the Eye of Hermes so it looks like it's there even though it isn't magical?
No, I'm saying you already know the door opens by magic. You use one of the little wands and open up the door. When someone tries to use the wand and it doesn't open because the ward's gone, it's going to be kind of obvious someone tampered with this thing.
But it doesn't mean somebody necessarily like broke in and destroyed the place.
Right, it might
Yeah,
mean that they
that's
think their
cool.
wand doesn't work because that's how tech
Right.
works for me. Yeah.
Maybe they forgot batteries. I don't know if we can involve somebody else, guys. I think we might just want to take a chance and blow this place up.
What time is it now?
Okay, so you've taken roughly about an hour and a half essentially to do what you've done so far. So it's like a little after like maybe 1 in the afternoon.
Okay, so
I-
that would be enough time if we could figure out who would be an expert of this. So we saw the
But
lamplighter.
you already saw like one sleeping lamplighter at the entrance of the tunnels, right?
Exactly. I was thinking we have enough time to go and wake him up and explain what's going on. Well, I guess see if he's part of it all. you
He's
know?
likely gonna turn us into the cops, being like, "These crazy fuckers want to blow the place up."
The cops already know us, so
Yeah.
yeah.
We could
And
just bring the cops down here and let them fight the demon. That'd be great.
Or fight the people that are going down to meet the demon. If we took these robes and these wands to the sergeant that we saw before and explained what we saw here, do you think he'd be motivated to come down and guard the church?
He'd probably at least believe us, but that doesn't stop the fact that the demon has already had 90 sacrifices and only needs 2 more.
10 more.
Or 10 more.
Yeah, so he's hoping tonight. So they've got 10 people that need to get sacrificed tonight. So maybe maybe we should be working it from both angles. Maybe we should be trying to involve the police and the lamplighters. Is there anybody else? And then we mentioned the paladins. Is there anybody else who might have a stake in this, who might believe us?
The witch hunters.
I'll be honest, if we haven't been able to stop any of these murders already, I doubt we'll be able to stop the ones they do tonight. The only thing we can do is stop the area from existing before they finish.
Right, or stop the people from bringing them here. They could kill them elsewhere and bring them, right? But if we can stop them from getting to the blue eye, I think it works. Yeah, I think we definitely need to go talk to the lamplighter guy and see what we can find out, but it might not hurt to send some messages to other places too. Or I don't know, do we want to split the party?
Well, yeah, like this is like stroke of midnight stuff, so you still got several hours, so there's no probably need to split the party to go
Okay.
hit up everything you want to hit up. Okay, so let's just the Southwark Police Station, Constable Station is not too nearby. This is relatively nearby. You take 30 minutes to walk over there. The sergeant is like, these are very serious charges. We'll let me get together a detachment and let's go look into this place. Demon worship is definitely it's a high felony, punishable by death.
This didn't even look like fey magic. It was literally just stuff that you'd see in the book. That just don't do that.
You might have to break down the door too. We kind of had to do that the first
Well,
time.
that's no problem. Essentially, we've got plenty of Johnnies with strong backs and
The inner door, use one of the wands. It will open.
And we want to tell them about the gas too, in case it recharges.
Also, wear the robes so the demon doesn't try to kill you.
I see. So let's all go look into this immediately. So the constable heads down there with a detachment. It's like these. He sees what you see. Some of his men go screaming out of the room. All right, we must put an end to this immediately. I'll put a detachment here to guard this location and keep any cultists from getting here.
That room may
Thank
have
you for bringing
multiple
this to my
entrances.
So let's ask him if we wanted to try and collapse this section over this. We're thinking maybe some of the lamplighter tunnels. If there was a map of where those were and how to get close enough to do it. Do you know
Well,
anybody who would
really,
know?
only the lamplighters would know that offhand.
Okay.
That or the assay's office, where all city plans must be filed. I'm not really sure which engineering firm did the drawings, but the assay's office would have them if anyone would.
We passed a lighter on the way here. Maybe we can bring him back to you and you guys can figure out a way to collapse this area if need be.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. You go and grab that one sleeping guy. Like, who the hell are you?
We're detectives and we show him our credentials and we're working with the police. There's a problem over at the church near the lamplighter tunnels and we
they
need
need
your
a-
help. The police
We need an
your
expert.
help. Mm-hmm.
I cast Charm Person.
I just light the lamps.
But you work in the tunnels.
You said
All
you
right,
cast charm.
great. So, why do you need to know that?
The police will tell you, but just come with us, please.
Right, he goes over there and it's like, are you all daft? Essentially, there's no guaranteeing how much of Southwark you'd blow up basically if you lit up the tunnels.
We're just gonna try to get as many people involved in this as possible, because
Spread the
We're
blame if it goes badly, right?
So the lamplighter is like, look, I am a senior lamplighter, and it's like, this is the most daft idea I've ever heard. It's like,
well, we're thinking it'd be better to blow this area up than to let a demon loose in all of London.
You know those bloody.
We'd have to shut off the mains essentially from the gas production facility for most of Southwark to prevent back explosions from basically propagating, perhaps all the way to perhaps all the way basically to the source.
Sounds like you have some work to do before midnight.
You remember the blood under the bridge?
Yeah, my boys and I basically been seeing that for better part of like 2 months.
Yeah, so this is all related to that.
We never thought anything of it.
And we think they're using your tunnels to do some pretty extraordinary things, and a lot of people have died, and a lot more are gonna die. Please help us put an end to this once and for all. You'll be a hero. And I.
What we can do to basically shut off the mains to. But I suggest you use conventional explosives and do not try to breach. It's already going to be there's already going to be a huge mess essentially to repair whatever gets blown up with conventional explosives. So figure out whatever you can essentially with the good sergeant over there, but do not light up the pipes.
Do our best.
What I can do to guarantee basically that the damage is relegated to just this area.
That sounds like wisdom right there.
Yes. So we'll go share that bit of.
Okay, so this is all in front of the sergeant, sergeant just sort of like twirling his mustachio. It's like, all right, that all makes some amount of sense. So,
this will be fun, Sergeant. You get to blow up part of the city.
Go escort our lamplighter friend essentially and gather up gather up as many lamplighters as you need to do whatever he needs done.
Mhm. And
Get as
then
many of the other constables available. We have maybe about 4 or 5 more constables available. Get them to help get this task done as quickly as possible. Report back here.
We do that.
It's maybe about an hour later when one of the constables comes running back. He's literally missing an arm. It's like Sergeant, something really bad has happened. Essentially, as he sort of collapses and falls unconscious at everybody's feet.
I reach down and heal him.
Okay, he comes to consciousness. So it's like we were attacked. We were put upon by all sorts of the head lamplighter. He gathered some men, and then about half of those men attacked us in the tunnels. Barely knew what hit us before. More than 3/4 of us were dead even before essentially we could react. Them and some other blokes essentially with swords and heavy armor and black like pallid skin and claws and fangs attacked us in the tunnels. They describe ghouls.
Right. I think it's time to get the paladins involved. If there's ghouls under the city, they're going to want to do something about it.
that sounds
Young
like they're
beans.
what they
Oh, yeah.
live for, you know?
Right.
Like it's like, well, they dragged away the head lamplighter. I don't know without his help whether or not we're gonna be able to do what you're planning to do.
You're really right. We are making this everybody's problem now, aren't we?
It already was everybody's problem.
They just,
90 dead people. Yeah, it was already their problem.
So I guess this is also probably where a lot of the people have been missing.
I'm thinking that if a demon comes through, it's going to be pretty messy. So it's not just like an explosion or nothing. No, it's an explosion or horrible natural disasters from the demon. So
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to round up as many factions as we can, I guess.
So you head to the Beneficent Order of Mercy, which is actually the militant order of the church. It's like
Dave's fault.
it's like the we deliver the mercy of God upon our enemies. All right, you arrive at the training grounds for the Paladins of Mercy. A particularly dour woman in black plate mail with a gold cross in the front essentially greets you. It's like, if you've come back to request joining the order, I'm sorry, Paladins essentially we do not take Fae among our orders.
Would I have been able to bring the armless sergeant with me? Or the armless guy with me? Yes.
It's like oh, I see. So undead in the lamplighter tunnels. So Lieutenant, can you show us Paladins where this was, and we'll go and deal with your little undead problem.
There's also demons.
Well, singular. I think there's only one, but he's a biggin.
And what of you, detectives? Are you coming with us as well?
I don't think we have a choice.
I will never
If
miss a
that-
good fight against the undead.
All right. Once you return to the church, the sergeant there's this sort of like bluish glowing field over the altar in the burnt cathedral. It's like that just snapped into place maybe about 10 minutes ago. Our clerics and mages can't breach it at the moment.
As Gurney
Okay,
Halleck
the sister of Mercy goes, well, we'll see what we can do. So, Lieutenant, why don't you show us down into the underward here, where you ran into these undead, and perhaps we'll start our conquest from there. As the lieutenant sort of guides the 20 Sisters of Mercy, the Order of Mercy. There's like men and women. About half of them are clerics, the other half are paladins. As they head down into the lamplighter tunnels, you sort of closely following the head group with the head paladin. It's like, so, tell me everything about how you came across this particular group as you describe what's going on. It's like, I don't know why it is exactly that the Order of Mercy is always the last thing to know about these things. We really should invest in an investigative arm. You wouldn't be available in the future, would you?
I think we can be persuaded to investigate various things for you.
All right. Well, that would be very helpful.
We'll at least come to you with things that we find.
Especially from the church. I have to talk to the deacon. So
Membership.
As the head paladin sort of looks at you with narrowed blue eyes, it's like, still no demi-humans among our ranks. It's not going to happen.
What if there was a quasi-rank for investigators helping with your service that would be looked upon favorably? Not a true member, but a member at item.
Essentially, in our hire, essentially, you could be whatever race you want.
So we could be separate but equal.
Hardly equal.
I was about to say.
Well, separate but evil is never equal. It's just something
you can hear just around the corner as you're sort of. You can hear the clanging of steel and a lot of screaming from and hissing of undead as you can hear battle being joined just around the corner as you're having this conversation. It's like, oh, looks like we're being called to arms at this point. Get ready! As she rushes forward and whips around the corner to join battle with these guys. But as you guys round the corner, you can see there's a mixed battle, essentially. This corridor is relatively wide. It's maybe about 15 feet wide. And there's all 20 paladins are engaged in like a sort of shoulder-to-shoulder line with waves of ghouls. As far back as you can see, it's like, this does not look like we're going to make it through here in time. Perhaps we should go find another way as detectives.
Better help the paladins.
The head paladin's like, looks like we're going to be stuck here for a while, essentially. See if we can find another way around.
I guess we shall find another way around. We'll
Mack
start
is
looking
just
for
on high alert right now. He's not he's trying to watch for danger, not watch for entrances or anything.
Okay.
It's like towering over the group.
This is probably a good time to break as any. As you, as the head paladin says that, essentially, go find another way around. Apparently your enemies already know this, as you can see another group of ghouls basically coming around a corner basically to flank all of you and basically pin you in. And that will do that. We'll fight next week.
All right. Ghouly. In the meantime, is there anybody... How many police do we have at the church at this point? Were most of them decimated, or there's still some constables there?
Well, I'm saying they only lost 4 constables to the basically that were sent off to go. So there's a total of 25 constables. So and their sergeant, who is no slouch himself, but
constables, sergeant, and 20. So we got almost 50 people down here.
Right. Well, the point is they've got that end of it at the church.
Did not come down. They basically are guarding the church to make sure does not get up to the church and just walk straight in.
Yeah. So they've got that side of it covered. We need to try and cover this side so they can't sneak around. Mm-hmm. So okay, this sounds good. Well, thank you, Lawrence.
All right, we'll pick up here next week as you need to punch a hole through the ghouls and make your way to the cultist chambers before they manage to finish off their ritual.